I think we all feel that we are living in very uncertain times with the latest developments and the latest statements coming from the US, but already with the things that we knew last week. There are a lot of question marks to not only questions such as how the economic relationship between the US and basically the rest of the world is going to look like, but also when it comes to more broader questions of an international rules-based order. I mean, we already knew the withdrawal from the climate agreement, which of course is a really big setback, especially in our attempt to still reach the Paris climate goals. The WHO, also now the cuts in the development aid that the US has announced. And the latest developments. I think I don't have to go into all of this. When we see Vladimir Putin still as a brutal aggressor in the east of the European Union, and now Donald Trump in the White House, the European Union certainly needs to be an anchor of stability and also of clarity. Because we are not only seeing threats to the economic world order, but we are basically seeing threats to the democratic world order with what Donald Trump has been saying. So even more important that we have a very ambitious and ready-to-act agenda here in the European Union. And what we have now seen coming from the Commission regarding the work program, I think it is certainly not the work program that the Green Group in this House would have written in terms of ambition, but also in terms of determination of now really pushing through what has been agreed already in the last legislature. But we see that it is a basis to start from. It is very much going in line with the political guidelines that were negotiated last year with the mission letters and now this work program. I think what we see as a very welcome step is to put the question of supporting a European industry in the center. We as Greens very strongly believe that we need to have a thriving industry in Europe, obviously a thriving industry that is leading not only in decarbonization but also in digitalization and the future issues that we all share globally. And we certainly in Europe have not been at the forefront at a lot of these questions. So we think that now focusing on getting our industry ready for the 21st century is great. However, the question is going to be, if you look at what the Commission work program says so far, how exactly is this going to look like? Because there are a lot of good proposals, but the question will be in the fine print when we see the actual legislative proposals coming up. And one thing is absolutely clear, and I don't only say that as a Green politician, I say that as a person who also understands the needs of industry, the needs of businesses to have planning security. If we now change course and say everything that we did in the last 5 years, we basically just throw back and now we take a different direction, this is going to be toxic for business in Europe. This is going to be toxic for our competitiveness. So we will stay on course and we will make sure that we implement what has been agreed last year in the last legislature, but also that we give the means that are needed, the measures that are needed in order to implement the strategies to our businesses so that we will have a thriving economy and industry in Europe. The second point that obviously is maybe not a new but a revigorated priority is the question of a stronger European Defence Union. The Munich Security Conference is coming up this weekend, where we will see how also the security mechanisms and order are shifting with a new Trump administration in the US. So the time is ready for Europe to take a stronger role there. Basically, I'm not going to tell you anything new when I say that we need to work more closely together as the Europeans on questions regarding security. This is also not something that I think is new to the discussions here in this House. However, in the past, we have continuously seen that basically the talks about the defense union go as far as Sunday speeches, but then when it really comes to actually looking at how we can work more closely together, for example, in questions of procurement, then we are not reaching the targets that we have given ourselves, so we actually need to walk the talk and see something substantially happening there. Now, on the question of how we are going to bring this agenda on the ground, we need to see leadership from Brussels, and this is what we are going to demand as a group here in this Parliament from the Commission President. But, and I think that this is something that we are all quite worried about, we also need to see more leadership coming from the member states, and especially maybe the bigger member states. And there, what has happened in the past weeks and months is it's not giving a lot of positive hope for the next steps that we need to take. So what I believe needs to happen is not only to have a strong European agenda now with a Commission work program, with a clean industrial deal, with the questions of the defense union, with questions relating to democracy and working together on a global stage, but we also need to see member states that are ready to play European in this global context. We are all aware of the fact that Donald Trump is now pushing a very tough agenda of America first. The answer to America first cannot be Germany first, France first, Italy first, or Finland first. The answer to America first has to be Europe united, and we hope to see that on the basis of this Commission work program, not only this Parliament but also the representatives of the Member States will understand that. I'm going to leave it here, and now I'm looking forward to your questions.
Thanks, Terry. We go for questions in the room and online if you want to raise your hand. I have one here first.